I wanted to make this video for a long time, but somehow I missed it. So I wanted to make it today actually. So the topic that we are going to talk about is, if you are a piping designer and wanted to become a piping design engineer, then this video is for you, because we are going to discuss about this topic extensively today. So please watch this video without skipping. And by the way, I am Subhash Chandran, who has an experience of 17 years in piping design. And I'm running this channel from last 1.5 years in order to teach you about the piping design engineering. So if you are a candidate who are interested to learn about piping design, please subscribe to my channel. I will help you to learn about it actually. So without wasting your time, let's get started. So what is the thing that stops you from becoming from a designer to a design engineer? So what is that quality that is really needed in order to elevate you from this level to another level? So that is what we are going to discuss about it, because from my experience of about 17 years, I worked with several designers and several projects and several different people from different region, countries and all actually. So this is what I observed. So I believe these observations will help you to change yourself in order to elevate from this level to this level. So one of the first thing that I wanted to point it out here is that designers have to change their attitude if you wanted to become a design engineer. Why? Let me tell you an example. Generally, most of the designers, they wait for an input from a design engineer. If they don't get input on time, many of them don't respond to the design engineer, and they used to spend that time for doing something else, or they used to just sit down simply by wasting the time, not realizing the importance of the time. Because if you're working in a project, the time is one of the diminishing factors. So you have to give an importance for the time actually, and you have to be serious about the time. So this is one kind of an attitude. And the other kind of an attitude is that, give me this and I will give you this. If you don't give me this, I cannot give you. See, if you're working in a project, at times you may not get the full input. Full input in its appropriate shape. You may get an input by bits and pieces of the input from different areas. So being a design engineer, you have to give a shape to it actually. But designer can say, so if you are a designer who wanted to become a design engineer, you should not tell this actually. So that is one of my, the intent of talking about this particular topic. So I don't want to point it out many areas that, but please change your attitude, because you are aware that you have certain kind of an attitude which is not allowing you to grow from one level to another level. Be an open-minded, that's it. Don't have any restrictions in your mind. Just go freely and take, be more active, be more serious about your work, learn many things, and just support your design engineers and try to grow yourself. See, here I wanted to give you one of the general saying that we generally used to say in the projects actually. If a design engineer gets a good designer, half of the jobs are already done, which means that a good designer does half of the job of an engineer. Then you just have to elevate, you just have to learn about the remaining half to become a full-scale design engineer. This is the general saying actually. But it is true, because I had felt, because I had worked with the good designers and the bad designers. So when I had worked with the good designers, I just have to take a least responsibility. Rest of the things that they will take care. That is the kind of an attitude that you should have if you wanted to grow. If you don't want to grow, if you want to stay in the same place, that's perfectly fine. There is no profession in the world has some bad names and all. Actually, you can still continue. If you are happy with the salary, happy with the kind of an activity that you're doing, it's absolutely fine. But this video is only for those who wanted to become a piping design engineer. So now let's move on to the point number 2. The point number 2 is that taking full responsibility. See, taking full responsibility in the sense you have to be responsible for everything, because there are times that you have to do something that you are not supposed to do it. Designers would say that, no, I cannot do this because this is not an activity that I was supposed to do it actually. This design engineers has to do. See, design engineers will definitely do it because that is their role. But if you wanted to become a design engineer, you have to learn to do it. You have to learn everything. One of the greatest advantages that you have is that you're working with the design engineer, working in the project. You are aware about the complete system. So please take full responsibility. Nobody else in the world has such a kind of an advantage. Being a designer, you are already into the system. You are part of the system. It is easy for you to learn. You need not to go to any training center, need not to take any courses, nothing. You just have to be open, be more responsible and understand what you are doing actually. Please try to do things that you wanted to learn. If you start denying, if you start stopping those activities, generally design engineers will not motivate you. But if you are a person who is willing to do every single piece of work in the project, design engineers will load you about this work. Don't panic about the workload. See, for me, from my experience, what I felt is that if you are given a lot of work, then it's a very good learning for you because only under pressure you can learn easily. Without pressure, you cannot learn easily. It takes a lot of time. If you are comfortable, if you are peaceful, if you are taking a lot of time, then your learning process will delay actually. So you will not be quick enough to grasp things actually. But if you are under pressure, you will learn quickly. So this is another important thing that I wanted to tell. Now let's go to the third one. The third very important quality you should have is that be ready to read the standards and specifications. Why am I saying this? Because most designers are only concerned about the drafting and 3D modeling, that's it. But they are aware about there is something known as specification, there is something known as engineering standards, there are something known as client requirements. These things you have to read. If you wanted to become a design engineer, you must read. But if you wanted to remain as a designer, I will not force you. You be good at your drafting, that is more than enough actually. But if you wanted to become a design engineer, you have to read this, understand this. What is the core value of these specifications? What is the core value of these requirements? Why these are brought here and why you have to follow this? Why design engineers are going through all these things? Why are they referring page by page, clause by clause, point by point? Why are they doing it? You have to understand this, right? For this, you have to spend time in reading. Most of the designers are reluctant or hesitant to read these standards. But you have to read. There is no other go if you wanted to become a design engineer. So this is the third point. Now let's go to the fourth point. You have to aware about the work process. So what is the work process? Work process is nothing but from where you're going to receive an input. Say for an example, PNID, PFS, and pipe spec, and the details of control valves and details of supports actually, to whom to coordinate, when to coordinate, and what time you have to coordinate, what kind of input that you have to share, what are the documents that you have to review, what are the documents that you have to provide an input. There are a lot of activities are there. But since you are already into the system, it is easy for you to learn about the work process. It's not like others. See, in a project, there are certain activities that are run in series actually. That are conducted in series. Certain activities which are parallelly taken care. You have to aware about this work process. What are the activities which are done in series and what are the activities which are done in parallel. Say for an example, let me give you one simple example. PNID, the preliminary PNIDs are issued for a design preparation. So when you prepare a piping layout, you are preparing with the preliminary PNID. But at the same time, you have to give a little more input to the civil input so that they will also start working on. So you cannot say, I will finish this layout only, then I will share this input to the civil. No, at the preliminary stage, you all have to coordinate. So for this, you need to know the work process. In order to know the work process, you have to understand the importance of the input that you have to share with others and to receive from others. So work process is a very, very important thing that you have to aware about in order to become a design engineer, because design engineers are the key responsible person to follow this work process. If you miss it, definitely during some meeting or any project progress meeting, you will be caught saying that why didn't you do this? Say for example, you wanted to release a mechanical data sheet for a particular valve. If you are not aware about that you have to release it, then you will be caught. So please be aware about the work process, what you have to do, when to do, and which time, and what are the inputs that you have to share and receive. Okay. So now let's go to the next quality. The next quality is be a self-driven candidate. All design engineers must have this quality. They have to drive themselves. They have to motivate themselves without nobody's help. You have to be self-driven all the time. Designers would say that, no, I need to get an input from a design engineer. Design engineer did not give you, but design engineers cannot say these excuses. You have to drive the input. You have to take some assumptions. If the inputs are not available, you have to take some samples or examples and consider it as a whole, or you can assume something. For the case of control valves, generally you won't get the dimension of the control valve at the very initial stage. Actually, you will get the dimension of the control valve only at the I would say at the 60% of your design, once the control valve vendor dimensions are finalized. So this takes time. Until then, you cannot wait, right? So what you can do, you can refer the internet, you can refer any pre-available drawings with you, and you can take as a reference, or you can follow with the some sort of an standard dimensions of the standard valves, and you should have the piping in such a way that if the dimension changes, you must be able to change your piping dimension also. So this kind of an activity that you have to do. So for this, actually, you cannot say, no, this input is not available, I cannot do. You should not be that kind of a person. You have to be a person who knows how to drive yourself to in order to progress from one point to another point in the project, actually, because projects are, as I say, the time is very important for projects, actually. So if you're going to waste an hour or a day, it's really going to be like captured as a very big delay. So please be aware. Being a self-driven person only can do this. You have to drive everything, even if it is not there. Assume, put it as hold. Talk to your seniors and friends and everything. Understand what you have to do, but you should not stop the project. You have to continue the project. This is what you have to be, actually. Now let's go to the sixth quality one should have, actually. So the sixth quality is interdisciplinary coordination. So you have to coordinate with various disciplines. You have process, civil, electrical, CNA, safety, and materials. So these many disciplines, you should know when to coordinate and how to coordinate, because see, being a design engineer, your important role is to drive your project. In order to drive your project and in order to deliver on time, you have to coordinate with these team members, actually, in order to let them aware about where are you now. Let them aware about the kind of inputs that you are waiting for from them, actually. So let them aware about the condition of the project, actually. Let them aware about their delays. So these are the things that you have to do. So for this, you have to coordinate. See, coordination could be done in various ways, actually. You can directly go and speak to them. You can send them a mail. You can have a meeting discussion. You can bring them for some sort of tea break, or you can just let them aware. There are various ways in doing it. But the very important thing is that in order to do the interdisciplinary coordination, you need to have a good relationship, good attitude, good nature, actually, good friendly nature. You have to maintain the friendship. Only then you can have a good effortless coordination. So very important thing is that you have to do this interdisciplinary coordination in order to effortlessly execute your project. Most of the designers, they don't do it because they don't get an opportunity. Even if they get an opportunity, there are people who are reluctant to do this, saying that this is not my responsibility, this is design engineer's responsibility. But if you want to become a design engineer, you have to do it. As I used to say in my previous point also, this video is only for those who wanted to become a design engineer, who wanted to improve from a designer to a design engineer. So now let's go to the next. So the next point is going to be the seventh one. The seventh one is improve your technical communication. See, technical communication means actually either through mail or by voice, actually. So if you are in a meeting, you must be able to present yourself. In order to present yourself in the sense, in order to present the content that you are going to present, you have to be really be specific in the technical points. You cannot simply say blah 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 in the meeting and get your name spoiled and kicked out of the project. It should not be there, actually. You have to be very cautious. For this, you just have to prepare yourself. You have to learn how to communicate in a technical matters actually. You have to aware about how you have to write an email. There are people, even after having experienced 10-15 years, they are not aware about how to write a technical email. See, let me give you one simple advice for that. Whenever you're writing a technical email, actually, you have to put it in a point. You have to distinguish using different topics. If you're not going to do this, actually, this is really hard for the other side people who to understand actually. So technical communication means be specific. So if you want some input, you have to clearly state that this is the input that you needed actually. So please send me this input, or please send me the list of inputs that you have listed below. So these are the things. You have to be really specific, and you have to be bold. Your technical communication is really important for you to become a design engineer, because if you are not good in communication, how you can become a design engineer? You cannot become a design engineer, right? You can become some engineer, but not the design engineer. I'm saying being technically strong in technical communication is very important for a design engineer. So please work on it, improve it, and develop the skill, so you will become a design engineer for sure. Now let's move on to the next. The next point is going to be the eighth one. The eighth one is ready to discuss with others. So this is what one of the other quality that most designers don't have actually. They used to keep everything within themselves. See, if you have a doubt in your routing, if you have doubt in your design, immediately ask your seniors, talk to your boss, talk to your design engineers, call them out and discuss with them, talk to your peers. Don't be a person that and if you go and open this topic and your mistakes are addressed everywhere, and you will be cornered, or you will be mistaken for the kind of a knowledge that you have. No, it's not going to happen. See, if you open up your topic, you will get good idea. You will be able to change your design. You will get good inputs from the right people, and at the same time you're getting your design reviewed from others. This is one of the most important thing that we have to do in the design actually. At some stage we have to allow our design to be reviewed by others. See, during the designing phase, if you are stuck with something, you immediately have to reach out to the people. It can be anyone. Don't hesitate even to reach out to your HOD, even to reach out to your principal engineer or lead engineer directly. You have to be that bold actually. You have to be strong enough actually. Don't be a person that you keep everything within yourself, and when there is when there is something that comes as a delay, only then you will say no, this is not available, this is like this, and blah blah. These kind of stories will never going to help you. So the one thing that you have to do is that if you're stuck with anything, be a person ready to discuss with others. Be a person who has an open-minded to open your topics in front of others, put your problems in front of others, and try to get an advice, try to get a suggestion, try to change your design accordingly. You will also learn many things, and you will find that how new ideas are emerging from others. This will really help your design actually. So being a design engineer will do this. Most of the design engineers most of the design engineers are doing this because they have to get their design reviewed by someone else in order to present in front of a client actually. So you have to cultivate this habit. Otherwise, and it's really hard for you to survive. So please have an open mind and be a person who's ready to discuss with others actually. Now let's go to the next topic. The next topic is, if you wanted to become a design engineer, one of this activity you have to do it is that you have to pre-plan all your activities. Whatever deliverables that you are going to deliver, you have to pre-plan the activities. Let's say, for example, you wanted to deliver a set of piping GAs or set of an MTOs or isometrics on particular date. You have to pre-plan this. You have to plan this to be delivered at least 2 or 3 days before actually, because in a project generally there will be last minute surprise, and you will not have some sufficient time, or you will be getting a lot of comments at the last moment of the projects. This happens. This is the one important thing, that this is for this reason only I'm asking you to pre-plan your activities. If you are not going to pre-plan, and if you are going to just work as it is without seeing your plan, you may end up not delivering on time. So this is what's going to happen. So design engineers has to pre-plan, whether it's an MTO, whether it's an input, whether it's a GA, whether it is an isometrics, whether it is a meeting request or anything. Always pre-plan your activities. This will help you to be more serious, to be more aware, to be a person who is responsible. So simply you have to be a person who does all pre-planning for your activities. Now let's go to the last point of this topic. The last point of the topic is you have to focus on the ultimate objective. So what is your ultimate objective? Say design engineers' ultimate objective is to reach out to the clients, understand the scope and deliver the project on time. So these are the ultimate objective. Objective in the sense that you should meet the expectation of the client. For this you have to understand the objective of the client and to meet their demands. Say, let me say that if the client requests you to expedite the project within a month, within 2 months or 3 months, you have to plan your activity in such a way that you can complete within 2 or 3 months actually. If it is not possible, you have to tell them that is a different case. But the intention is that you always have to keep this in mind about your ultimate objective of the project. If you do not have this in mind actually, you will not be able to deliver. Let's say, understand, you do not know the end date of the project. You are completely working without on your schedule, not aware about the actual committed date with the client actually. So what happens? Definitely you will submit the project with some delay actually. So in order to avoid it, you have to understand the ultimate objective of your project actually. Not only the deadline. See, there could be many things actually. The client would have requested you to add some sort of an insulation, some sort of a special painting, some sort of an analysis to be done, some sort of an special supports, vibration studies and those things actually. So the ultimate objective of the project, it has to be in your mind all the time. Designers will not have, because designers are only concerned about the drafting and delivering the drawings and correcting the comments and checking the accuracy in the drawings. But design engineers cannot be like that. They have to have this ultimate objective in the mind. Only then they will be able to meet it actually. So if you are a designer who wanted to become a design engineer, then these are the qualities you must have, essentially, mandatorily actually, so that you can work as a full-scale design engineer. So according to my experience, I have shared my observation. This will really work. So I hope that this video has helped you to understand what you have to do in order to become from a designer to a design engineer. I will meet you in another fantastic video. Until then, bye from Subhash Chandran. Please subscribe to my channel if you are interested in piping design. Thank you so much for watching my video.